Hello, future English speakers. Welcome to my channel. I'm Swing, your English mama. In this video, I'm going to help you find ways you can start doing to improve your grammar, listening, and speaking skills with the materials you already have, whether you are a beginner or at an intermediate level. I will also share an important tip that often seems to be missing in a language learning process. So, let's get started, shall we? You've learned basic grammar in textbooks. You've been working on listening for input and even trying the shadowing method for output. But you feel like your English is not getting better? Maybe you're not doing enough? Maybe you're overdoing it by trying too hard at too high a level. Or maybe you're not doing it effectively. Let's find out the best ways to make the most of your materials and your time. せっかく努力するんだから要領よくいきましょう。And by the way, you need to use your imagination for language learning.We'll get to more of that in a few moments, but please keep in mind and really imagine it's you who's doing these learning activities as you watch this video. I believe you've heard this, and I also think most English educators would agree that in the Japanese education system,the junior high school level or the Aiken third grade level is good enough for daily conversation. Well, what about present perfect and past perfect? I know many of you struggle with these structures within this level, but I have good news for you. Did you know that although it helps a great deal if you understand them,and you should learn them, you don't really need to be able to use them when you speak. Understanding and using are two different things. What you need is just to be able to get the meaning when you hear them. For example, instead of saying, I've been studying English for 2 years now,You can simply say, I started studying English 2 years ago and I'm still studying. It's the same meaning, and it's perfectly fine. The same applies to indirect questions. You don't need to use this structure if you find it too complex, but it is a common English grammar structure.So yes, it is beneficial to be able to understand it when spoken to you. Like, you should be able to understand a question such as, Do you know where I can buy some coffee beans around here? But if you cannot express yourself in a single sentence, simply break it down into two parts and say,I want to buy some coffee beans. Where can I buy them? While we are at it, the passive voice too. Instead of saying, I was told to go there by John, you can just say, John told me to go there. And don't worry, you will eventually get them all and be able to use them when you speak. Just know that for now,Some structures are good enough if you can understand them when listening. Now, when you study grammar with a textbook, I believe you study the structure by the explanation in the book, followed by some sample sentences. Maybe there are quizzes too. May I point out that those sample sentences and quizzes are often not good enough.Because they are not your own words. They are the words provided by the textbook. So before you move on to the next chapter, think of what you would want to say using that grammar structure. Remember what I said earlier? Use your imagination. Put your words together and write them down. For instance, let's say you learn a comparative structure and you see a sample sentence. Mike is older than Jane. Think of someone who's older or younger than you and write something like, my sister is younger than me. And read it out loud too. Make as many sentences as you can. If you're not sure if your sentences are correct, use an AI tool like ChatGPT to check them. This way, you'll be practicing what you would really say in English in your life. Then move on to the next lesson. By the way, for beginners, I recommend using 2 grammar textbooks or workbooks at the same time, chapter by chapter. This allows you to learn through 2 different explanations. The second book will feel easier, boosting your confidence. Choose textbooks that are simple and thin, like those designed for junior high school students. Avoid overly thick dictionary-style grammar books for now. For everyday conversation, it's better to start with something you can complete quickly. Trust me, you'll feel great when you finish 1 or 2 textbooks. It'll keep your motivation high. And another tool I often recommend is the Aiken Grade 3 Past Test Collection book. You may have already passed this level and moved on, but have you really fully mastered it? Remember, passing the exam typically requires just 60 to 70% accuracy. For this purpose, I suggest working on this level until you can easily score 100%. Easily. 100%. You will be surprised at how much you can still learn from revisiting these quizzes. Look at how articles like a or the are used. Try to understand why one is used instead of the other. If you're unsure, ask ChatGPT again. Why is there a and not the in this sentence? Notice how prepositions like to, for, in, and on are used, and when verbs end in ing or not. Make the best use of this book. You'll gain a lot more than just passing the exam, I promise you. And that is how I suggest you learn basic grammar that you need. So you come home, change your clothes, start preparing dinner, or maybe you need to do the laundry, and you play random English audio in the background.
I'm your friend.
Well,
I'm tired.
you don't expect to
pretty.
learn English by
I'm your
simply
baby.
playing speeches,
whatever.
talk shows, or other English audio in the background. Do you? Passive listening may sound like the easiest way, but I have to say it is not at all the fastest way or an effective way. You and your brain need to work together by focusing and actively listening to the sounds and meanings. You need active listening, not passive listening.
Let's focus.
You can certainly use passive listening materials. Just choose the right level for you and use them wisely. The right level is something slightly challenging for your current level. Not too easy, not too difficult. It should be something you can learn a few new words and phrases from each session, not a whole lot at a time. Listen with the English captions and the translation first. Make sure you understand the words and the grammar structure. not through the translation, but through your knowledge. Listen again while checking the captions and repeat after the audio. Then try repeating without looking at the captions. Take your time between repetitions. The speed isn't important here. Now, when you do listen carefully, and if you need to stop and check the word or phrase too often, or if the sentence you are trying to repeat feels too long and you can't complete it smoothly, the material is too hard for you. In that case, be brave and step back to something easier. Like many things in life, there's nothing wrong with stepping back when you feel you should do so. Remember that. It's better to repeat with ease. You learn more and even faster when you are working on the proper level of English for you. If you just really want to play some English audio in the background while being engaged with something else, try music too. Pick some songs that you like and are easy enough to sing along to. Learn the lyrics first and play them in the background. I will play the same song 10 to 20 times, depending on how difficult the song or lyrics are. If you can start singing along at some point, even a small part of the song, you are the winner there. And it's fun too. And if you can't find any good and easy songs to sing, try my song videos on this channel. I'll keep uploading new songs as much as I can. Now, this may sound similar to the listening practice we just talked about, but it's for a different purpose. And you should not overcomplicate it. Know that you don't need to understand everything you hear. Shadowing is a method where you listen to English and repeat immediately, like being someone's shadow. Copy exactly how they speak. It is said to be, and I agree, good for beginners too, to hear and copy English sounds, pronunciation, and intonation. It's more about those activities than learning the words and phrases one by one. Here's how to get started. 1. Choose a short audio clip. 10 short sentences per session would be a good starting point. 2. Listen to the clip while reading its English script. This helps you connect the sounds with the words. 3. Then repeat the sentences immediately after hearing them. Ideally without looking at the script. And don't worry about understanding every single word in the context. What I mean by that is, if you hear a word you don't know, or if you can't really understand the sentence, don't stop there to check the meaning. Take off your perfectionist hat and keep going. Keep your focus on grasping the sound. Repeat right after the audio and let your brain and mouth get used to outputting spoken English. It also helps you learn to think in English because you're not giving your brain the time to translate it. You see what I mean? One thing I would like to point out with shadowing is that it's easy to get caught up in a race to keep up with the audio. If you feel like you're too busy finishing each sentence, then it's possible you're not learning as much as you'd like. You see, I'm not a big fan of using games for learning a language. Why? Because when you play a game, your brain automatically wants to win. So, your focus is on how you can win the game rather than trying to learn anything new. Shadowing can be similar too, so please be careful. It's not speed you need to improve. Speaking fast doesn't make you a good English speaker. Your speech sounds better and clearer when you speak slowly anyway. While listening, imagine how the speaker feels. Think about the mood and the situation in the conversation. Doing this helps you sound more natural when you speak. And that is the important tip I wanted to share with you. It's emotion that is often ignored, but it can help improve your speaking skills. You might think I'm joking, but I really believe this is true. It's a language, not some kind of a digital tech you're learning. You may be hearing an AI voice or reading written materials, but you are a real human. So infuse your own emotions and personality into your repetitions. If you're saying, it's beautiful, say it like you mean it. It's beautiful. That's how we talk in our native language too, no? Please always remember, it's you who is saying these words. Add your feelings to them. Then English becomes your language. Well, I hope this video has helped you discover new ways to learn English. If there are any specific grammar structures or words you're struggling with, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try to include them in my song videos for you. I also hope you'll subscribe to my channel and keep learning with me. That will make this English mama very happy. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video. Keep going. Well, what about present perfect and perfect? 間違えた。Well, what about past present perfect and また間違えた。Whatever. Well, what about present perfect and past perfect? Perfectly scared. And speaking skills. And speaking skills. And speaking skills. Ooh. Why can't I do it? And speaking skills. And speaking skills. For example. How many examples? Gosh. Now, this may sound familiar. No, not familiar. Similar. One more time.